So when life gives you lemons, you try to make some lemonade out of it. The surface here is just awful. I've had to turn the car way down, and you know, the whole point is still just being out with the friends. I mean, you can just see how many people that we got out here today. It's just great. Everybody's just trying to get down the road and have some fun, including myself. So what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Dorky M40 RC channel. I am Chad, and we are going to make you faster today. Great weekend, guys. We're talking like 8-9 hours with the buddies spread across a couple days. Sunday was rough because we hit a couple surfaces that were kind of rough before we went to our main new testing spot, which is Sam's Club. It gets swept like every 2 days. It's an amazing surface. You can put down all kinds of power. So what did we learn this weekend? Well, we learned that I have a really bad battery. The Trinity did not make it throughout the winter, even trying to cycle it and everything else. A few other racers went up against this problem as well. I really wanted to gather some big time data on the Castle motor and everything else, but it just wasn't having it. We did manage to pull off 2.2s at like 68, 63, weird stuff. I played with gearing and everything else, kept looking at the logs, wondering why things just were not changing as much as I thought they would, or just nothing was really happening. And it was tough since we were going back and forth between different surfaces. Some were good, some were worse. But when we went back to the Sam's Club the second day after running there so good that night, I wasn't really looking at the logs very good because we were just having fun, and I've seen my voltages dip into the 5s and stuff before. I know they shouldn't, but like if the car's running good and you're getting better, who cares, right? We're not pros here. We're trying to have fun. But now I can actually see that that was killing me all weekend because I wasn't just hitting like 5.9s, I was hitting like 5.2s, 5.3s. Not good. But being able to do that proves a couple things. First of all, the Castle motor is the bomb. There's been a lot of discussion on that on Facebook today. We'll have more on that on the Fast on Facebook show coming up this week sometime. The other thing is I learned a lot about using prep, dry tire, that kind of stuff. The Wild Awesome Performance and the Get Stuck Prep by Jeff Zuccarello. Primo stuff, man, especially the Wild Action Performance, the Wild Awesome Performance. I have such a hard time saying that. I don't know why. I think it's because I can't say what it really spells because of, you know, YouTube and everything else. So the WAP is kick-ass. I mean, there was a couple dry tire situations, which, you know, when I say dry tire, I'm talking about a cleaned and a conditioned tire, not one that is like completely dry out of the bag. You clean it with brake cleaner and all that kind of stuff. But I was doing some things that were pretty cool. Like I would put some of the WAP on there and then put my tire bands back on that had just like prep soaked into them. So I'd get just like a little bit of prep on there. And I kind of figured that out at the one surface when I just was chipping away here. You'll see, you know, we were all like dialed down like 2 7s, 2 6s, then 2 5s. And then we bailed on that place because it was 6 o'clock and we could head to Sam's Club and knock it out. So we've learned a lot. We didn't get much data on the car. We definitely learned that new battery, got a new body coming on. I want the Racer RC body that's coming, and Straight Line Spoilers as well is sending us a wing to test on that. Going to be talking to Gary about that a little bit. A lot of interesting technology in a wing. Not just a couple pieces of Lexan, guys. There's a lot going on, so we're going to get some facts and stuff on him, and when that gets here with the body and stuff, we'll talk to you guys about that. So make sure that you like the video and subscribe to the channel so you can keep up to date on all the stuff that is going down. OG Bo's got some of these accelerator tires. They actually look and feel pretty good, man. So they look way different than their usual reaction. I'll show you a side-by-side comparison here in a little bit. So we've got the prep going on the tires. Don't really know exactly what we're gonna need. And I've got my stuff dialed way down so we can try to get down through here first. we'll see what happens, and we will start reporting back to y'all. New location, the other one was kind of rough. So what we've been doing is out here practicing where a lot of people have been practicing. Who knows if we're going to race here or not. Started everything off nice and slow, 255, chipping away, 2.3, inching up things a little bit more. We'll show you guys some of the hits on the next one. Making some tuning changes. In the Sanwa, of course, we're just starting off nice and easy, testing out the prep, testing out something really special here with the Castle that we'll talk about. Went back to the front big tires. These little tires, I've just never had good luck with them, and I really don't want to sit here and frustrate with them when I'm trying to learn what this motor is doing and everything else. That part of the church was awesome. It was a great surface. That's where a lot of people park and everything at. We were there on Saturday. The part in the back where we went on Sunday was awful. It was like Salt City still, Dust City. We blew it off, still didn't matter. The thing about this was the shutdown area was almost non-existent. There's a curb all the way down there at the end, probably about 100 and some feet to shut down, and you kind of got a little bit of jumpiness at the end too. So the car would just catch air, get loose, spin around. The 5-star chassis held up great, man. I hit that curb 3 times, cartwheeled that thing probably 4 or 5 times. Each time, nothing broke, nothing bent at all. So thumbs up to the 5-star chassis. I'm glad I did not make those weight reductions. We're sticking with the heavy car, and we're just going to load this sucker up with battery and see what the hell it's going to do. Out at the night spot, Sam's Club just ripped off a 222 at 63 miles per hour. Huge hit. Added 10 degrees of timing, same gearing and everything else. Taking a look at the logs, it looks like I was making RPMs the entire time. Wasn't slipping like we were at the other place. So when we got out to Sam's Club, I saw all these guys just totally prepping the tires big time, like 2-3 coats, so I knew the surface was going to be able to take the power. I still was just kind of like not understanding why the car wasn't going faster. I was just assuming that I just had to learn the motor, was working on gearing. I think at that time I was running like 81-29 or 81-31, which was like a 7.5 FDR. I wanted to go from 8 down to like 6.5 or 7, or yeah, 8 to 7, just to kind of see what was giving me what. The data really is inconclusive because the battery sucked and I couldn't really see what was going on, but I really didn't realize that yet. I was just having so much fun, man, just being out. It really didn't matter. And I mean, hey, it was running 2.2. I was loving it. The prep was working good. The get stuck, like it was just flat. Like in the nighttime, you can just really see how the stuff flashes. Like it's really cool. A lot different than when the sun's shining on the tire prep, because when the sun is shining on your prep, it always looks like it's just wet. But the whole point of flashing is from going from wet to sticky. So it's still going to look like it's wet, but it's not going to be like kind of runny and slimy. It's going to be like more like a glue type of texture on the tire. So keep that in mind next time you're out prepping your stuff. I'm learning this just like you are. Some of these guys have been prepping for years, man. They prep for like dirt and stuff. Like, how do you prep a tire for dirt? I don't know how to do that. A lot of my buddies do. So anyway, let's just get on with what was happening.
Hopefully I'll run you over.
Gas station's closed, man. Wasted my prep and wasted my hit, dude. So there's still data to be had, just because you can still just kind of practice things, and it's a good time to like practice on your prep job and stuff if you're doing like the dry tire thing and everything like that. So that's kind of what I'm doing, is I'm running like a minimal prep as possible. Can't get it all out of the tire, just picking up too much stuff here, but knocking down some 2.6s, 2.7s, definitely not going to be setting any records. But again, it's just all about having fun and just kind of adapting to the situation, all that kind of stuff. Using every bit of that road.
then there's that next boat ramp deal there. Well, when you go down in there, there's that big cove right there. You got hip waders on, you walk there.
So 255 at 63, that's about the fastest I've been out here. Everything pretty good, got everything slowed real down. That's the big thing about the sandwall, guys. One little click, maybe two different changes to the numbers, and you're good. A lot of people ask about the other radios. I hate that I can't comment on them or don't have them. I can only speak from experience. You see how other people are struggling to get down the road. I learn a little bit, adapt, make a couple changes in the sandwall, and we're down the road on a 255. And it's an important thing to think about because it's not just the radio that's a key thing, but I was doing everything that I've learned in my arsenal. We all knew the prep wasn't working, so we had to go to the dry tire, the conditioned tire. Try the heat, not try the heat. Now, you might experience these problems at the exact same track throughout the day. The track could start off good, it could get bad, it could get worse. You could have sun, you could have cloud cover. Middle of summer, things work different than they do now or in the fall. So learning how to use your gear and everything else is the key. And one key to that, unfortunately, guys, is that you need to be running the gear that the rest of us are running. I wish I had the time and the resources to test things for all of you guys. Unfortunately, you know, the best way to make $1 million on YouTube is to start with 2 million. So you can't really do all that. I know, like, some FPVers have made YouTube a professional career. I have no aspirations or desires for that, of course, but I want to try to provide you guys with the most solid, honest information I can. Now, if Radio Link or somebody else watches the Dorky and 40 RC channel and sends me a radio and says, hey, we'll give you a couple months to like figure this thing out for the drag racers, then great. But unfortunately, I don't see that happening. And I'm sure that like the top racers in the country, the R1 team is not going to switch to start using Radio Links just so people can learn how to do the throttle tuning and stuff with a $150 radio. It's just the way it is. I'm sorry. Nice. So the last run actually looked good. Think we got enough data, and we're going to change the gear now. So we're going to try that 2581 and we're going to see what we can get. So that was a 255 at about 63 miles per hour. Power is way down on that, but again, we're just trying to gather data here to see what is actually going to go on with this car. We're not going for personal best. So we'll do this, take a look at the logs and all of that good stuff. That horrible spot, and we're back out at the Sam's Club. And you know, we were out here last night doing testing, or the other night, depending upon which video we're watching, and we're able to put down some serious power out here. So I've been testing out the old gear change, and right now we got that 25 pinion on there with the 81 spurs, so we are way low on final drive. One thing I haven't done is go really high, so I was thinking about doing that and seeing what happens. Comparing the two hits, he looks like using a higher, comparing the two hits using at the lower gear, it looks like it hit a little less harder, and we basically still got the same ET at 2.2, 67 miles per hour. The other one was 68, 2.2. That was last night in the dark. So again, a big shout out going on to the Get Stuck and the Wild Awesome Performance, because it's really getting the job done. I was getting down the road over there when nobody else was. So that is a big testament to what that stuff was going done using like the actual almost dry tire method. You know, dry tire, you know, will still have something on it, but you want the least amount of possible on it. So I would clean my tires with the WAP, get them all good and heated up and everything, apply a little bit of more to the tire, just in a couple spots, and just heat it up and let it go. And then the actual prep that was soaked into the tire bands would just kind of seep through on there. So I'd have just a little bit of prep, so I wouldn't have that big thick coating to pick everything up that just like was ice skating and ruining everything. So good lesson to get down the track. We were able to get to like a 255 over there, which, you know, I'll take it for what it is. But I think the biggest thing that is holding us up now is the battery. The 6400 Trinity is tired, and it's just not big enough to keep up with these big dogs. We need like double the power in this thing now. voltage drops are still, you know, 596. So, you know, that was all fine last year when, you know, we were all shooting for like that 2.0 mark, 2.1, whatever, trying to break the twos. But now that we're trying to get even further in, you know, we just need voltage, man. So that kind of looks like it's going to be the one thing that actually is kind of holding me back here, unfortunately. You know, I like to try to be on the up and up with you guys on what you need to like really, you know, perform. And it looks like we're going to need a bigger battery than possibly the 6400 in my case, because of my heavy car and my power hungry and capable ESC. Now, some people like Power Matt, of course, we see what he can do with either or with a 4000 milliamp, but who knows, maybe just for shits and giggles, I'll throw this 4000 milliamp on here because it is a new battery. And maybe we'll give it a run here before we leave tonight just to see if the newer cells will do anything. But we'll see what we can do. Same setup again, see if it's repeatable. And that was it. You could hear that the car just was not making RPMs at all. I think on the logs, the most RPMs I made out of looking at all of them was like 38,000, which, you know, is kind of about halfway. You know, Castle is being really, really like shady or really quiet, you know, about what specs you can get out of this stuff. I wouldn't say shady. They just don't want to overpromise. You know, the motor itself says max 77K. People have called into tech support, including myself, and they're saying like you should be seeing about 49K out of it. Final drive ratio 7.5. Run it in smart sense mode, which I was not doing. I was running it in cheat mode like I was last year. So that's out the window. So my setup really was totally wrong. And you just don't know until you run it and you start just asking yourself, why is this not working? Well, your battery sucked. You were running the freaking thing the wrong way. You tried running at like 4 different places throughout the weekend, different temperatures, times, everything else. And you wonder why you were having some problems. But again, the frustration didn't set in here until luckily the last hour of the entire weekend. All before that, it was great. I was ripping the quad out there at Sam's Club, maybe, or I found an SD card actually. It was just a great time. So we've learned a lot. We got a long way to go. We've got stuff that's coming that's definitely going to make the program better. I'm excited. You can probably tell how excited I am just by the tone of my voice in the video, because it was just great being outside, guys. Let's face it, being holed up in this basement, as I said before, has just been, you know, okay. It's been great interacting with you guys. You really kept me going all winter long. I love each and every one of you for the support that you've given me here at the channel. I show the wife the comments and stuff like that. It really makes me feel good about what we're doing here, and we're just going to stay true to our game and keep on going. So that's going to do it for this video, guys. We'll come back this week with some other stuff, some useful stuff, and some fun stuff. So we'll see you guys later. Peace.